Good morning, gang. Good to see you back. For those of you showing up for the first time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Welcome to my channel. Let's move on to a bit of international news. No big surprise to any of the rest of us who thought it was already understood as such. The conflict in Syria has finally been classified as a civil war. Like I said, no big surprise. I guess it took some time to process the paperwork. But with this, we're getting more news and more photos and such coming out of Syria, which, looking at some of them, my attention got grabbed by one in particular. Let me share. Now, as you can see in this one, he's obviously a sniper, sharpshooter type. But I've got to hope he's posing for the camera. Let's take a look. You can see, okay, he's got hold of the pistol grip trigger assembly. That's great. His other hand, though, he's holding the magazine and magazine well. Plus, his barrel is sticking forward out of his shooting position. Now, he's got a good shooting position. The hole in the wall like that offers him great cover and concealment. But the issues here are, with his front hand holding the magazine well and magazine like that, he loses stability. The weapon's not going to be as stable. It's going to be moving around. He's going to have a horrible sight picture. Now, with his barrel forward like that, it's illuminated by the outside light. That means dark barrel against light-colored wall, it's going to be easier to spot. Plus, his muzzle flash is going to project outside his cover, which means anybody watching is going to be able to spot his muzzle flash and put fire on his position. In addition, that looks like probably concrete, maybe possibly some other type of construction. And with that punched out hole like that, he's going to create dust. And it's going to be like a little bitty smoke signal on the outside of the building, which sometimes will hold and linger if there's no wind, saying, "Here I am," once again drawing fire. Hopefully, he's just posing for a picture, and in reality, he knows what he's doing and will actually pull back 2 to 4 feet back from that hole, set himself up a table or something to support his firing and do his job right. Otherwise, he's not going to last as long as he should. He's got a good position, but he kind of destroys its benefit with the particular pose provided in this photo. Moving on, as should be no big surprise to anyone, one of the 3 wounded survivors from the small boat that went up against the USS Rappahannock yesterday is saying that the Rappahannock fired on them with no warning or provocation. Well, duh, he's going to say that. To say anything else other than something that would try and cover his butt would be stupid. There are so many options out there. I mean, for one, a lot of people just don't like us. Now, they're from India. We have some good workings with India, but there's also a lot of people there that don't like us. Now, why would he say that? Like I said, to cover his tail. There are numerous options out there. They could literally be paid to test, is the U.S. Navy going to react? So like I mentioned yesterday, a small boat similar to this was what was used to attack the USS Cole, killing 17 service members, wounding 39 other sailors. If we're not reacting, they can pull that again. So he's not going to say, "Oh, we were paid to test the reaction space." He's not going to say, "Oh man, we were stupid and we decided to, just piss off this U.S. Navy ship. It wasn't a warship. It should have been safe." He's not going to do that. He's not going to say their fishing has been going horribly. They're deep in debt and they were looking for a payday, hoping that, messing with the boat, that, they'd take some damage from the wake of the larger ship, or that their engine would be shot out and they could sue the U.S. for money. They're not going to say, "We were stupid." They're not going to do any of those. He's going to say, "Oh, we didn't do anything wrong. They fired on us without provocation. That's the way things go. Anyone who thinks otherwise needs to waken. Now, but I would welcome your comments on it. Moving on to our last point, though, for the morning. The Boy Scouts of America, as I mentioned in a previous article, were reconsidering their policy of allowing gays into their organization. If you didn't know, the Boy Scouts of America are a no-gays organization. It got fought all the way to the U.S. Supreme Court, who ruled 5-4 in favor of the Boy Scouts, that because they don't take federal money, they don't have to accept anyone they don't want to accept. So, no gay troop masters, no lesbian den mothers, I think is what they're called. Well, they made their decision, and no gays. They were considering possibly opening up to where each troop could decide for itself, but they maintained their current policy of no gays in the Boy Scouts of America. Okay, there. Whether I agree with it or not, personally, I like the idea of letting each troop decide for itself, but they're an independent organization that has their rights to decide such things. They made their decision. Now, on the other hand, Zach Waltz, who is an Eagle Scout, the son of 2 lesbian moms in Iowa, was one of the individuals who brought this forward and brought this up as a new issue to be reconsidered. Obviously, he's not happy with this. The decision was made by an anonymous 11-member council. And he's already up on the podium in front of the news cameras saying, why not put out a call and make it a democratic process? And why have a secretive committee make the decision? Make it public. Make it a big vote among, all the Boy Scout troop leaders and such across the country. Well, Zach, I'll answer that for you. Because both the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community and the Christian fundamentalists have fanatics. If you made this a public, put out a call to gather together and have a democratic vote, you would have fundamentalists from both groups, one on one side of the road, one on the other, ranting and screaming at each other, making a huge media circus out of this. Plus, no matter which way somebody voted, let's say we stuck with an 11-member council, but you let it know who they were and how they voted. The hate for anyone voting either way, their names, address, where they worked, pictures of their family, would be demonized and put all over the internet. There would be flyers out there. Their businesses would suffer. They would be getting harassed. And that's not just if they voted, to let gays and lesbians in. If they voted against it, there are radicals on both sides, Zach. You look like a good, upstanding young man. Please do a little research. Think about it. If you've really got a severe problem, do what you've got the right to do. You're an American. You've got the Eagle Scout skills. You've trained. You've been through the process. You know what's going on. Walk away. Start your own thing. Or look for other organizations. There you have it. You don't like it. They're allowed to keep their decision. Move on. Start a competing group if that's what you really want to do. That being said, I'd love to hear y'all's comments and thoughts on the subject, or on any subject I've covered today. So, leave me your comments down below. Hit the like or dislike. Subscribe if you want to. And take care of yourselves. Until next time, I am the Articulate Grunt. Keep your heads down. Bye.